2022 brought some welcome relief for public authorities from the crisis mode of 2021, in which unfortunately so many of them had to operate. And we saw a return by those public authorities to implementation of their longer term strategies and goals and the work that accompanied that. We also saw the coming to fruition of some long awaited legislation, such as the Gambling Regulation Bill, which was published in December 2022. However, 2022 also brought some unwelcome developments. For example, we saw an increase in the level of AIE requests being made to public authorities. That's requests under the Access to Information on the Environment regime. This wasn't helped by some decisions of the Office of the Commissioner for Environmental Information, which really broadened some interpretations of the regulations. Now, there's a review underway of the AIE regulations themselves and also of the FOI Act. Then there's some legislation in development in that area. So I think public authorities will watch those developments with interest to see if they will bring any relief from that side of things for them. We've seen increases in other areas as well, such as increases in complaints against various regulated professionals. To be honest, that's probably to be expected as the membership of most regulated professions has increased over recent years. So it statistically follows that there will be an increase in complaints in those areas. So again, that's something that all of the regulators are watching with interest and perhaps some concern. Looking ahead to 2023, the government has recently published its spring session legislative programme. Lots of interesting legislation in the offing. If we just take some areas of interest, for example, in the real estate sector, there's planned legislation in the area of construction activity. There's a planned overhaul of the Planning and Development Act 2000 and also other licensing amendments which will impact on clients and public authorities in the real estate sector. Also, if we look at the health sector, there is developments in relation to the Health Information Bill, also long-awaited legislation in relation to safeguarding of vulnerable adults. It's still in planning mode, and also there's plans for bringing regulation into the area of home care providers. I think many would agree that's long overdue and will be welcome, but it remains to be seen the precise terms of that legislation when it's ultimately published. Of course, we're also watching the progression of the gambling regulation bill through the houses of the Oireachtas at the current time. Finally, another matter which may come to dominate headlines in 2023 are investigations and inquiries. There have been several signposted by the government. One of the most recently mentioned is a possible inquiry into the state's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. And there's certainly a lot of pressure from various organisations to have an inquiry into that area. And we remain to see what form that will take. And I think an announcement in that regard is expected shortly. So all in all, it looks like it's going to be a very busy year for public authorities and the entities that they regulate.